Masks for Sale. Written by Radria. After cashing the checks, money orders and such, I returned to the office to get down to business. I've made quite a profit selling gas masks and other protective gear. Business is good. After putting part of the money in the safe and in the cash box, I look over the stack of orders. There are 2 orders in what I call the exempt pile. One order included an exploratory message saying that the customer thought it might be prudent to get a mask because there had been a couple of disasters near where she lived. I can sympathize. The other is from a guy saying he didn't care about any special features. He just wanted a cool mask for an upcoming party. That's fine by me. It even strikes me a little amusing for some reason. I take care of those orders first, carefully packaging the masks and making sure to set them apart from the others. And after that's done, I tally the numbers of orders in the other stack, what I call the special orders pile. Once I'm sure how many masks I'll need to prepare, I fetch the required number and bring them back into the back room to begin the process. Safety is the primary thing. First, I inspect my gloves and apron, and, finding no flaws, I put them on. Then, I don my best gas mask and make sure it's working as it should. With everything in order, I take one of the masks from its container, grab one of the jars from the shelf, and get to work. I pride myself on the thoughtfulness with which I work. By the time I'm done working on the mask, it's like the poison is bonded to the rubber, plastic, filters, etc. at the molecular level. Most customers wear the mask at least once. After all, the first thing most people do when they get a mask is try it on to make sure it fits properly. When they do, they inhale the poison with every breath, and every inch of the skin in contact with the rest of the mask absorbs poison through the sweat glands. Even if the customer doesn't wear the mask, he or she just keeps it in storage in the house. The poison can still take effect. The poison is very strong, and I take the liberty of poking tiny, nearly imperceivable holes in the bags I place the masks in before wrapping and packaging them. Poisonous fumes escape the bag and seep into the house, so chances are good the customer will still be poisoned to some extent. If the customer has ordered a complete hazmat suit, I hedge my bets by contaminating that too. Once the customers have sufficient amount of poison in their systems, they begin to succumb to paranoia and death. Some suffer cardiac arrest and or respiratory failure. Others are driven to commit murder-suicide due to paranoia. It's easy for me to find the obituaries, police blotters, and news articles. So, it's simple to find the fates of the majority of my customers. There was a report from a nearby town of a man who went insane and shot his family members to death before taking a fatal dose of pills and booze. There was also an incident in another city of a woman who was shot to death by the police after she took a gun and wandered through the streets raving and making violent threats. a case of unintentional suicide by cop, I checked my customer list against the police blotters and news reports. Sure enough, they were both on the special orders pile list. Sometimes I can tell beforehand that the poison is doing its work. For instance, there was a customer who, a couple weeks after receiving his mask, requested 5 more masks, making all sorts of claims about why he needed them. I could tell from the bizarre claims that he was in deep into the paranoia phase. I told him not to worry, that I would send him the new shipment of masks, explicit delivery at no extra cost, since he was such a good customer. And to please let me know when the shipment arrived. 2 days after he contacted me to let me know it had arrived, I read his obituary. It speculated that it was stress that caused his fatal heart attack. Funny stuff. The more people die, the more fear is generated. The more fearful and paranoid people become, the greater my sales. After the guy who ordered 5 additional masks had his heart attack, several of his friends and relatives ordered masks from me. This thing had them shaken, they said, and they would feel safer with something which could provide them with a little extra security, because you never know what might happen in life. I told them I understood completely, and that I would give them the exact same service I gave him. After the news reports of the woman who was shot by the police, and of the man who killed his family, I searched and found the advertising office for the newspaper in those cities. I placed an ad in each one, and after that, my sales in those cities took off like a rocket. Many of those customers I gained from the 3 incidences have already died, and more are on their way. The cycle continues